Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You've hit the spot. The place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Put your thinking caps on, because the conversation starts now. Just pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. And today we have Vickie Beineke. She is a traditional naturopath. We're going to ask her, what does that mean? She's a certified emotion code and body code practitioner, as well as a body chemistry with RBTI. I'm not familiar with RBTI, but we're going to learn that and a whole lot more. Let's welcome her to the show. How are you, Vickie?
Well, I'm doing well. Thank you so much, April, for having me on. This is an amazing opportunity, and I appreciate being on your show.
Oh, well, I
So,
appreciate you.
so a traditional naturopath is someone who is dedicated to utilizing nature's healing powers to bring the body back into homeostasis. And homeostasis is a self-regulating process by which biological systems kind of maintain and stabilize us, you know. And I use 6 well-established principles that most traditional naturopaths use. And, do no harm, treat the whole person, holistic healing, identify and treat the causes, that's fundamental healing. Number 4, utilize the healing power of nature. And 5, the naturopath is a teacher, a facilitator. And number 6, supportive coaching as we go along the way. So that's what a naturopath is.
Wow, well, that's a lot of heavy lifting. How did this modality find you, Vickie?
Well, it found me when I was really young, a young mother. I wanted to be a naturopath, but we just couldn't afford it. And years later, fast forward decades later, I ended up with endometriosis that turned into cancer. And at the time, I was an elementary school teacher. Um, so my life was kind of turned upside down for a while. And that caused me to want to learn more about natural health and healing, not only for myself, but to be able to help my family and friends. And now it's just grown into a business where I'm helping people literally worldwide.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot. And people, when I want you to take into consideration that if you are under a doctor's care, please continue that. This is
Absolutely.
alternative options and choices that we provide you here on the edge, something for you to look into. But it's a lifestyle change. This isn't a quick fix. This isn't something that you're going to, trendy or like a diet. You have to live it. You have to be sure that you
Absolutely.
are there with from cradle to grave with someone that is already walked the walk. So you are also a certified emotion code, body code facilitator, practitioner. I don't know what goes
Yes.
into that.
Yeah. Practitioner. Um, and that I found through a mutual friend. I had attended a seminar to learn a little bit more about it. And it just really resonated with me. Everything is energy. We're energy. We have energy around our body. And emotions are energy too. So emotions can get stuck in our energetic field. And so there's 3 types of trapped emotions that can lead to dis-ease in the body. So the first one is just a general trapped emotion. It could be anywhere. Okay. The second one is a heart wall trapped emotion. And that's where we try to protect ourselves in a situation. We put up that barrier. When the situation is done, sometimes it falls away, sometimes it doesn't. And then the third one is actually inherited trapped emotions. So, believe it or not, some of the stuff that we're feeling or that we're experiencing might not even be our own. So, when a client either comes to me in person or via Zoom, we delve into that. And you're probably wondering, how do I identify those trapped emotions, right? So, I do that through muscle testing. So I say a prayer before every session, and and then I connect energetically with that individual. And then I muscle test on their behalf to identify those negative emotions in the subconscious mind that can go as far back as when you were in your mother's womb. Because let's face it, when we're in our mother's womb, we're developing, we can actually absorb what our mother is feeling. So, for example, if your mother was in a car accident and it was very traumatic and very stressful, she got very scared. You could actually have a fear trapped emotion in your being that you've been carrying all this time in your life. Isn't that amazing, April?
It is, but beyond that, generational trauma, what your
Yes.
grandmother's grandmother. So epigenetics is very prevalent now. It even's going as deep as genomics. I have some scientists that I are familiar with and work with here in San Diego, and they are really taking it down to the genome level. So I understand
Yes.
people are trying to really figure out who they are, where they've been, but the most important thing is where we're headed, or sometimes to even stabilize. You are a body chemistry with RBTI. Share that with
Yes. So I do body chemistry analysis, and that's part of my naturopathic aspect of what I do. That's one tool that I use. And it's a way of identifying what is going on in the body 2 hours after you eat. So I take a sample of fresh urine and saliva. I do 7 lab tests on it. I've been trained on how to do this. And I can tell things like if you're vitamin A deficient, if you're potassium deficient, how your kidneys and liver are functioning, if you're dehydrated, if you have too much protein circulating, you're not breaking down your protein in your body. So then I counsel people, I coach them on what foods they can eat to bring their body back into homeostasis.
Okay.
And we base that primarily on the pH of the urine. If the urine is really acidic, your body cannot absorb the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients out of the
Yeah,
food
your
you're eating.
body's supposed to be a little bit more alkaline, isn't it?
Yes, but it can also be too alkaline. So if it's too alkaline, the same problem. There's a certain range that you need to be in to really utilize all the nutrients that your body is taking in to turn it into energy so that you can function.
Now, after you went through your cancer treatment and diagnosis, and congratulations on being
Thank
successful
you.
with that, you had to change that and you have to monitor that. What would you say to a person that is, coming out of chemotherapy and trying to regain, quote unquote, some sort of normalcy or balance?
Yeah, well, the first thing they'll really need to do after they finished all chemotherapy and got the clear from their doctor is to start a detoxification program to really help get those chemicals out of their body, because that's not good for us either. Yes, it did its job, with the cancer, killing the cancer, but we need to get those chemicals out of the body. So I'd highly recommend find a qualified detoxification specialist. Start eating whole food, not the boxed food, not the canned food, real food that you get in the produce section of your grocery store. Shop the perimeter of your grocery store, not the middle. The middle is junk, with the exception of olive oil and a couple of things like that. But
And I mean, I know it's junk, but I've got to get a cookie or two now. Don't just
every
stay
now and
around.
then, yes,
Don't
every
just
now and then it's okay.
Well, that is really good to know, because I'm doing a lot of work with nutrition and just really trying to look at what I eat, how much I eat, portion control. A lot of people that are overweight, they forget you got to take that bloat and that inflammation down before you're even going to start to be able to stabilize and build muscle. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
and are you eliminating? Like you said, she's taking saliva and urine and she's being able to tell what's going through your body, but also elimination. And people got to leave the house
Yes.
when you
Exactly.
okay, that's
They can't all stay
body
in there.
no, it's not good. It's not good. And spiritually too, when you got a foul kind of energy coming out, that's bad chi. So
Yeah.
you want to do whatever you can to make yourself feel whole and complete. And these are some great modalities and great options
Well,
for the whole
and
body.
let me give you 5 eliminating pathways so it's easy to remember. If you just remember BULLS, BULLS. Okay.
And
So bowels,
bowels,
urine, liver, and lungs, and
lung,
skin.
and skin.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we're all human, right?
We just
But
want to make sure that the brains, know what they're doing, because there's only really
yes.
5 ways that you can get rid of the stuff that you put in. And the skin is the largest organ. I'm seeing more and more that companies and big pharma or naturopaths or people, I had another guest on my show that makes natural products. They like topicals because it absorbs directly into the skin. It doesn't go through the whole digestive system. And that can jack you up, brains. You're taking, you can take medications that have all these side effects and maybe doing one good thing for there, but then it's got to go through all these other portals and it's messing stuff up. And then when you look at television, they give this disclaimer as to what these products are. And you're like, oh, wow, what am I doing to myself? So what we want to work with is prevention, like Chinese medicine. I went to Asia and it was incredible. I got in the car with the driver and he told me tomorrow I was supposed to go to the clinic. And I said, I didn't come here to go to the clinic. He goes, but it is part of your destiny. I said, really? So I get there and it's this big pharmacy of nothing but herbs and roots and mushrooms and all kinds of stuff. It was tricked out. I go upstairs. The doctor checks my liver, my kidney, and my spleen right here at my wrist. They look at my eyes and they look at my tongue. None of this blood drawing and let me check your blood pressure. I mean, it was like magic. And he could really see what was going on with my body. Well, what I did was I said, well, let me take some of these herbs home. I come home and I make 2 mugfuls of this tea. They've got tea for everything, from a toothache to wrinkles to hot flashes. And I start to hallucinate.
Oh, no.
I said, what in the world happened here? Well, my husband said, baby, how did they serve it to you? And I said, well, they served me a little cup like this. Well,
big difference.
Yeah. Oh, so what you have to understand too, brains, is that you need a qualified professional. Don't just walk into, a herb shop and just think that you can grab everything off the shelf and it's going to work magically. This is medication. This is natural medicine. This is where everything is derived from. So again, take your time, go through it systematically. So tell me some fun things about you, Vickie. Do you like to bowl? Do you have a cat?
So we have a little dog, Bandit. He's 16. He was my dad's dog. My dad passed. Then he was my mom's dog. He passed. So now we have inherited. And he's adorable. He's a mix between a Bichon Frise and a Papillon. So he's so cute, with those little Papillon ears and everything. He can't see very well now. He can't hear very well. And he's getting a little bit of cognitive decline. So he'll get confused, which is so hard to see, Let
me ask you a question. And this can be for, humans or animals. When does it become more of the quality of life than the quantity of life?
Yeah. Well, when we do preventative with humans, when we want to be preventative and not reactive. So I want for myself as well as my clients and family, more life in their years. Okay. More quality in their years. Because I think most of us could agree that they just don't want to sit around in a wheelchair or lying in a hospital bed for a year or so. We want to be able to move and enjoy life. And so
I had that challenge. I was looking up a hill. I was going for my walk and I said, I'm going to go around the other way. I'm not going to walk up the hill. Then I said, you know what, April, you had to come to Jesus meeting right there at the corner. Do you know how many people can't walk? Do you know how many people wish they had a beautiful neighborhood to walk in? You realize how many people, are suffering right now? You better get up that hill. And I got up the hill. When I did, I patted myself on the back.
That's right. Good for you.
That's another thing. Pat yourself on the back. Reward yourself. The hardest part of exercising is putting on your tennis shoes.
Absolutely.
So we have to move it or we will lose it. It's the food, it's the elimination, it's the interaction, it's your mindset. It's a lot going on. It's a lot of moving
Yes.
parts. But you're a big container brains and you can definitely get that done. So I hear congratulations are in order that you are going to be a grandmother.
Yes, I'm
Is
so
your first
excited.
grandbaby?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. What do you think the difference is between a grandmother and a mother?
Oh, well, mothers, they have the full responsibility of everything. And grandmothers, we get the fun part, I think. We still have some responsibilities. There's some things to, I think, pass down in the lineage and certain things, knowledge and education and personal development things I want to
Not past
instill.
trauma. No past trauma. Don't do that. But even if that's passed down, you have a way of reasoning with that. I was
Right.
telling a friend of mine's grandchildren that a grandparent is really there to school you, protect you, and spoil you. Where your parents are more the disciplinarians, but you still have to look to the wisdom of the seniors. I don't see that as much. I don't see, kids really flocking to their grandparents like we did when we were a kid. I mean, you just relished the time with your grandparent. You
Yeah.
don't see that. You're seeing a lot of, uh, again, in the device. I was with some young
Yes.
people and we're in the car and I said, well, let's talk. I don't have anything to talk about. I said, well, those thumbs are moving mighty fast. You're doing something with somebody,
So,
so it's just a different way of channeling the energy. Have you been turned on and been able to use any of the AI features in any of this? It's amazing.
yes, yes. Having two sons, okay, they keep me apprised to the new technology and things. So I have a 32-year-old and a 30-year-old son. So they both said, Mom, you got to check out AI. And so I got on ChatGPT right away when it was first released and started playing around with it. I thought, wow, this is amazing.
Yes.
It's I can see the good and I can see the flip side of it too. I mean, it's going to, unfortunately, I think, take away some jobs. It's going to help us humans be more efficient, the ones that know how to use it and to
Well,
utilize it. But
it can make us efficient, but it can make us ignorant too. You don't have to think. I
true.
mean, you don't have to go and look in the encyclopedia. Remember what that thing was?
Oh,
We don't do
yes.
that anymore. Now you just Google it. I'll Google a whole phrase and up it pops.
Mm,
Artificial intelligence is also building relationships. It's mimicking the arts. It's mimicking singers and their voice and their. Uh, it's just
yeah.
a whole new level. But this is where we're headed. So what we
Yeah.
have to do is we have to figure out how we're going to be able to work in alignment to save humanity in this
Yes.
artificial world, because that's where we're going. Kids nowadays,
Absolutely.
you're lucky you got grandkids. My daughter says she wants no parts of kids. A couple neighbors down the street, they want no parts of kids. They don't, they don't find that interesting anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's
And
okay.
who knows if my youngest son will have kids either. I don't know. I mean, he's not in a relationship. And I tell my sons, it's whatever makes you happy. I'm not going to force you or nag you. When are you going to get married? When are you going to have babies? When are you? No, it's whatever makes them happy.
Because it's their journey and
Exactly.
we're just the conduit that goes through that. So let's ask some more fun questions. If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be?
I love flowers. I love all kinds of flowers. So it's hard. I mean, I love sunflowers because, they face the sun, they can give us some food and nourishment. Um, but I also love lilacs, you know.
Smell.
So it's
I just planted some geraniums and oh my God, they smell so.
yes, yes. And I just love all the multiple colors. I have a wildflower garden in my backyard and I can go out there and pick flowers and make my own bouquet. And I just love that.
That makes you happy. What are some of your guilty pleasures?
Guilty pleasures. Well, sometimes I will, have some fast food. That is a guilty pleasure. Every now and then, is okay because you got to remember, as long as a lot of us grew up with certain foods, certain comfort foods, certain foods that we're used to. So as we're making these changes and moving away from some of that stuff, every once in a while, I'll treat myself to pizza or a hamburger you know, but it's not a weekly, monthly, you know,
Right.
it's not very often.
Because you're
So
eating to live, you're not living to eat.
exactly,
And so
exactly.
it's a big difference there. But I tell you, I like a good cocktail every now and then and a big bowl of guacamole and
Oh,
chips. I kill it
margaritas
all
are my
by
thing.
myself.
Yes.
They are, you know, so and we deserve those things, but
Yeah.
it's just like anything else. It should be in moderation.
Moderation. Yes.
It should be in
Yes.
moderation. Do you do you do you counsel individuals or women that may have endometriosis? Because endometriosis, from my experience and from what I know, is something very difficult to identify with unless they actually go in and do a procedure.
Right.
I don't know why it you know.
I don't know either. I don't know why the medical, you know, why the allopathic medicine has not been able to identify that sooner in women.
Well, what's odd, and they're linking this, and you know, forgive me if I misquote this because I'm not a doctor. This is just some information that I've heard. Is that a lot of African American women are now in class action suit because the hair straightener that we use to straighten our hair is causing hormonal imbalance. That
Yes.
that could be also for colors. That could be for perms.
Yes.
So white, black, green women, it doesn't matter. This stuff is seeping into your brain. You want to consider that too, you know, when
Yes.
you're using these products, because your skin is your largest organ, and the parabens and the preservatives that they put in these products on the shelf life, you have to think about that too. So you have to be very
Yes. And I caution people also about buying water in bottled water, you know, plastic containers,
Mhm.
and drinking those, leaving those plastic bottles in their car and it getting hot. What they don't realize is that plastic now is leaching into the water and
Mhm.
they're drinking that, which is it's a disruptor also in, you know, the hormone system. So it's really best uh, to use filtered water from your home. Get a glass water bottle, you know, with one of those rubber
No, I
gripper
have
things and drink it that way.
one on my daughter's house and she gave me a plastic cup to drink out of. I almost came out of the ground. I was like, not drink out of plastic. I don't. Uh, I don't have anything in my house I don't use. If it's the finest crystal, that's the glass I pick up. That's the glass I drink out of. But I was noticing the difference, and I was like, this really has a different taste. It doesn't
Does.
taste good. It doesn't taste
Right.
good.
But see,
But
people
you know
don't
what they told
think.
me about the water though? Okay, so now you have to work with someone or a good company to get a good water filtration system, because I went on a tour of the desalinization plant here in San Diego. That water has been through that system 385 times.
Mm.
385 times it's been there. You've washed a dish, you've taken a shower, you know, you've given your pet something to drink, you've drank something yourself,
No,
you
people put their pills, their medication down the drain when they're, or flush it down the toilet. They're not supposed to, and that gets in their water. And so, yeah,
I don't know. Are you pretty green?
yeah, we try to be. You know, we're improving all the time. I mean, it's a process like anything else.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
but the whole thing, you know, people are gonna just expect you to be super green, super healthy. You know,
I'm human. I'm
this
here. I'm human. And
exactly.
I tell people, hey, I come right alongside you on this journey. I
Well,
am not up here, have all the answers and have ideal weight and no health problems. No, I come alongside you. We do it together and we encourage and motivate each other along that journey.
well, that's amazing. Please tell my brains how to get in contact with you, Vickie, at vlb.life.
Yes, yes, VLP.life. You can go there to the website. If you're interested in doing an emotion code session, just click on the emotion code tab, schedule a session with me. I do in person, over the phone, and via Zoom. So I'd love to be able to help you release some of those trapped emotions that are holding you back.
And she's got a great marketing billboard in the back that provides all of her information. We'll put it in the show notes. Go in, brains, check it out. Love, like, share, and subscribe. Right here at the edge. Love, like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. You know what? Even if you're not experiencing any health challenges, prevention is key.
Absolutely.
It's really key. So thank you so much for being with us today, Vickie. You're the best.
Thank you, April.
All right. Bye, brains.
Bye, brains.